I wanted so much. I'd never seen Denali, which is Mount McKinley at the time. I'd never seen it before. I lived in Seattle at the time. I was going to the summer school at the University of Geneva in Switzerland to get my graduate certificate in French studies for the University of Washington. So, but coming back, I go, if I just plan this just right, I can come from Frankfurt to Hamburg to Anchorage. And so then Anchorage on Alaska Airlines back to Seattle, if I get my ticket right, and I did it, I managed to do it. In Frankfurt, getting my ticket, I didn't have my seat yet, so I said, bitte einen Sitz auf der rechten Seite des Flugzeuges und vor dem Flüger. So please, a seat on the right side of the airplane in front of the wing. And she said, seldom, in German, of course, seldom does any passenger ever be so specific about a seat. But I calculated if the weather cooperates. And of course, it's summertime. If I'm on the right side of the airplane in front of the wing, I'd be able to see Denali. I was waiting and waiting and waiting for this to happen. And of course, the headphones, the complimentary headphones in the old days, I love classical music. I had ordered a little bottle of German wine, Rhine wine, and I had opened it. And at the same moment that Handel, good grief, as I'm talking about this right now, I'm having chills running up and down my spine of what this experience was. So at the same moment that Handel's Royal Fireworks music began to play on my earphones, out the window, Denali came into view. And I started to cry. I go, there you are, my friend. I've never met you before, but there you are, my friend. There you are. And it was the most wonderful experience of my life at that time. That was such a cool thing when Evan was born. It was born at Group Health Hospital in Redmond, Washington. Melinda did natural childbirth. The nurse, the first thing she did is she handed him to me. And there was a song that we used to sing in that church called Heaven, Heaven Belongs to Me. Heaven, Heaven Belongs to Us. So this little infant, I cuddled him in his thing, and he opened his eyes. And as he opened his eyes, I sang, Evan, Evan belongs to me. Evan, Evan belongs to us. And that's how his life started. His first words, his very first word was the word joy. He goes to this Christian daycare at another church. And there is a song they used to sing that was, joy, 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 in my heart is ringing. And so Evan's very first word that was out of his mouth was joy. And so on my license plate that's in the other room, when I came to Alaska, I had the word Freude, which is the German word for joy. Now, the interesting thing is, it means joy. Like in Beethoven's Die Freude, Ode to Joy. In English it goes, joyful, joyful, we adore thee, joyful God of heaven, So, but that is Die Freude. Freude, Freude, schöne Götterfunkentochter, aus Elysium, wir betreten Feuertrunken, himmlische dein Heiligtum. That is the Ode to Joy. So I love the word joy. And one of my favorite places outside of Freiburg in Germany was the city Freudenstadt, which is the city, it means joy city. So I love the word. So because of Evan saying the word joy as his first word, I got the license plate that says Freude. But what's interesting is nobody here in Anchorage understood it because they always associated the word Freude with the behavioral psychologist Sigmund Freud. And because Sigmund Freud's last name, if it were English, his name would have been Sigmund Joy. And so, anyway, that's where the Freude comes from on my license plate. Evan and I have always been best friends. In Olympic National Park, getting his first exposure to the rainforest. When Evan was 9 months old, we went up to Raven's Roost above Petersburg, flew in with a Temsco helicopter up to the Raven's Roof cabin above Petersburg. And so there we are in the tundra. Here we are walking on the beach together. See, this is at the church and the baby dedication at the church. Now, one of the funny things about this one is he barfed into my inside suit pocket. Two guys enjoying Saturday morning coffee. The first thing I want him to know is something he already knows, but I want to reassure him that I love him more than I love anybody else on the whole planet. And see, that's kind of a little bit hard to accept because, of course, I'm gay. And I'm not hiding it anymore. See, he's had people through his life tell him that he's a mistake because he shouldn't exist because his father's a queer. I mean, they've said that. So he doesn't believe it, but I would want to reassure him that he is the most important thing in my life. And I always say to him that I'm the president of his fan club. I've always thought he is incredibly talented, and he's such a good writer. Today, he's a writer, he's a reporter for KYUK in Bethel, and he's extremely talented. He has journalism skills in his blood, and I'm so proud of him. The most important thing is don't give in to the BS that other people flow upon you. There is this dichotomy of if you're a Christian like I am, of course that's my name, I'm always a Christian, but there's this difficulty of humility and obedience to God, and believing that, and there is this other thing about following your own heart and what you believe, but you still follow your heart. You still follow your heart and don't let other people force you what to do. And so, because I was a queer, I was gay, I was suppressing that my entire life. I learned that I was supposed to hate myself. I was supposed to hate what I feel. If I just could have just followed my heart from the very beginning, I would have done, well, see, in one respect, I would have been better. But if I hadn't married Melinda, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have Evan in my life. So there isn't anything I would change about that. But if my life had gone a completely different direction, and if I would have followed my heart instead of listening to other people telling me what I was supposed to do. And so today, I think I'm probably pretty much even more obstinate than I used to be. I try to be benevolently obstinate instead of telling people to their face that you're full of shit. I just sort of, so often I hear people telling me what is what, figuring out this, whether it's an intellectual thing, whether it's a spiritual thing, whatever it is, people telling me what to do. And I just go, when they are all full of opinion, they're going to tell me this, I go, bye-bye. I think I hear my mom calling, bye-bye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, adieu, and gone. I will not put up with that shit anymore. I just won't do it. And I hope he follows that. And he doesn't put up with bullshit from anybody. And see, that can get you in trouble. But what's better to follow your heart and be committed to your values, or capitulate to the machine? And so I'm pretty sure that he's even more obstinate than I am.